Welcome to Rowdy Sports, Match Day 12 World Cup. We have some really cool games tomorrow. Argentina versus Australia. Yeah, made me stutter for sure. France versus Iraq. Norway versus Senegal. Jordan versus Algeria. Three of those games are going to be pretty decent. One of those games will probably be two teams beating the shit out of each other for 90 minutes. Let's talk about the first of the great games, and we'll start with Austria. Arnautovic is probably going to start after his showing in the first game, coming off the bench and getting the own goal or forcing the own goal and then getting the pen, or taking the pen rather. I don't think he earned it. Sabitzer had like a really quiet game. Konrad Leimer was probably their best player all over the place in that first game. I don't see Austria showing up against Argentina tomorrow. And while I would love for there to be a fight, taking on Messi seems like the wrong place to start that fight. You know what I mean? You can do it. It hasn't worked for anybody yet, but you can do it. So let's talk about the Argentina team. Lautaro Martinez. I'll tell you why I think he's starting over Julian Alvarez. I think Alvarez is a little bit more selfish on the ball. He wants to score all the time. Like, he has that classic number 9 mentality. Like, I'm in front of goal. I'm going to score. I don't need a pass. I can finish it myself. And I just don't think that flies with Messi's energy. Like, Messi wants the ball because he knows he's better than everybody else. And everyone else in the Argentina team fucking knows that too. Julian Alvarez, on the other hand, still thinks he's going to be the guy. When Messi retires, I promise him he'll get an opportunity. But until then, it's obviously Messi. So the other forwards that we're looking at, Martinez is probably going to be involved with one of Messi's goals. I don't think Rodrigo de Paul will be. I think he's too much of a bruiser in the midfield. I think that he's likely, like, if you wanted to bet on him getting a yellow card, I think that'd be I think you'd get really good odds and it'd be a good spicy bet for a parlay. Enzo Fernandez will probably be somewhere in the assist field. I just think he has it in him. I don't think Pedreas starts. Defenders, maybe like Tagliafico's probably going to be playing on that corner. Molina will probably be playing on the wing as well. I don't think maybe Otamendi starts. Maybe Otamendi starts in this game, but I'd almost be as gutsy to bet that Argentina don't even give up a goal in this game. But I think that this game will ultimately end 3-1. I think that Messi will get on the score sheet. I think McAllister or Fernandez have a really high potential of getting an assist in this process. I would go as far to say is that I would bet on the Enzo Fernandez assist. I think that'd be a spicy bet as well for this one. Another really spicy bet? I'd bet on Konrad Leimer to get a yellow card as well. I think that him and fucking DePaul are going to be fighting each other the entire game on that side. And I could see both of them, getting a card against each other. It just seems like a thing that could happen for sure. Especially, he's got a hot head and he loves being hot about it. All right, moving on. France versus Iraq. Oh, I'm predicting a 3-1. France versus Iraq. Man, France is about to treat Iraq like George Bush and Dick Cheney. This is about to be a rough day for Iraq. Who am I betting on in this game? Pretty much all of France. Doué, Dembele, Olise, Mbappe. They're all. Oh man, this is going to be. I'm a little lower on Doué than the rest of them. I just think that if Mbappe and Dembele get on the right wavelength within this squad, this France team is going to be unstoppable. Olise is on the right page 100% of the time. You never can fault the guy. Jules Koundé is a sneaky bet that I would put in this because I think, in fantasy, he's probably like 5,500 somewhere in there for a defender, and that's a little expensive. If you can get him considerably cheaper, somewhere in the 4K range, I would definitely consider it. Let's go deeper into their squad just for a second. Some other players that I would take a gander at that are probably going to come off the bench. Marcus Thuram, obviously, he's just a monster through the middle. I could even go as far as seeing Marcus Thuram or Mateta starting in the middle for this match, and like Mbappe playing out on the wing with Dembele in the middle and Elise on the other side. You know, they're so good. Bradley Barcola could even get the start over Doué. I mean, he got a goal. The second he came on, he was electric. And his goal was outstanding in the first game. If Bradley Barcola is playing against Iraq, I would for sure throw a dime on that. I mean, he's very good, and he'll probably have incredible odds against him. He'll also probably have a lower price tag than the players that he is surrounded by. I would go as far to say that Mike Maignan keeps a clean sheet here. So betting on any of the defenders, you'll probably get that clean sheet bonus for fantasy. But Teo Hernandez and Koundé are probably your biggest upside defenders here. Man, I don't know about this Iraq squad. Hussein, maybe? I don't know. Al Hamidi, I mean, they're good. They're good players for sure. But this France team is so brutal. Like, you're not going to be able to make a mistake against them. I'm actually going to be predicting a 3-0 win here for France. I know that, like, it's like, you know, kind of a liberal score and it seems pretty unrealistic. But this World Cup has had some missile launcher games. So 3-0 is the score I'm predicting. Speaking of a gun show, which I think this next game will be, I think this will be the game of the day. And I've said that a couple of times, and I've been wrong every single time. So, that being said, it's Norway versus Senegal. Let's start with the Senegalesians, because I know that's how that's said. We're going to talk about Ismaïla Sarr, who's clearly the best player in this squad. And he has to go up against a very, very good defender in Julian Ryerson. I don't know. He's had an outstanding season for Borussia Dortmund, and he's looking even better in this Norway squad. And I think that's because he has the likes of Martin Odegaard in front of him. He has the coverage from Sander Berg. I mean, this Norway team is really impressive, but Sarr is also like knocking on the door to sign on as a superstar for a team. I think that this tournament will show him, if he's willing to leave the Premier League to go to a bigger club, I think that would be smart. He keeps playing at these like C-list teams in the Prem, and he deserves better. He genuinely deserves better. I've been watching him since he was at Leicester, and was it Leicester? Did Sarr play? Watford. I've been watching him since he played for Watford, and I swear this guy has been a baller since day one. I remember him banging in goals against Liverpool at Watford, just like for funsies. Nico Jackson's really incredible in this squad. Sadio Mane, how can you not talk about Senegal without talking about Mane? I think that any of these three players are dangerously good picks for fantasy. I think they're really hard to bet on in props for this game because Norway do look really good. And I'm not just on that Norway hype because I see their... You know what I mean? I love that shit. Now, I'm not just on the hype, but that is something to look at. If I'm also looking at inexpensive buy downs, I think that Dida might get a yellow card, but he's also playing behind Sarr, so there's a really high possibility that he steals an assist or is a part of some goal making. I don't think that you'll see a clean sheet in this game from either team, but we've had some pretty wild upsets in this tournament so far. Speaking of which, we're going to talk about that next tomorrow when we see a team inevitably get upset. All right, whatever. Moving on to Norway. Holland is going to be so expensive in fantasy, but in props, just, throw him into a prop. He's going to get a shot on target for sure. 100%. Everything goes to him in an attacking sense in this lineup. He will get shots. If his line is like 2, 3, maybe 2.5, it's hard to bet on 3 shots. But if it's 1.5 and he only needs to get 2 shots, you bet on that fucking shit. If you can get a .5 for goals in this game, you bet on it. You bet on it because it's going to cash. He's going to be there. Like, the rest of the world is about to wake up to this. Like, they've seen him at Manchester City. Like, they were like, oh, wow, he's so good. But now they're going to see him on a grand scale for the world. Norway is my dark horse because of him and Martin Odegaard and Alexander Solarov. I think they're so good. Julian Ryerson, whatever. That kid Julian is fucking incredible as well. And it's wild to me that he overtakes Odegaard in taking spot kicks. So that has to say something, that like there's a level that their captain is willing to sacrifice for the better of their team. This kid is so, like, he's going to be so expensive in fantasy, but if you can get like numbers of crosses, like if you can get 3.5 crosses or 2.5 crosses for Ryerson, 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 yeah, you take that. You take both of those because he's going to be shipping every ball into the box for the 264 plus Norwegians that are just scoring goals because it's in front of them. You know what I mean? Holland and Solaroth are insane. That kid Nusa is good. He might get an assist, but that's only because he has these 2 monsters standing next to him. Either way, you're betting on Holland, period. Odegaard, you might be able to get a good fantasy. Hey, it's going to be like 8,500. If you can get him for less than that, and like you can squeeze him into a lineup, yeah, I'd pick him. But ultimately, you want to get fucking Holland in your lineup. You want to get Ryerson in your lineup. They're the two money picks right in this game. What am I predicting for Norway versus Senegal? I'm gonna pick Norway win 3-2. Yeah, it's gonna be a game. I think it's either Norway win 3-2 or Norway win 4-1. There's going to be goals. Jordan versus Algeria. And we're not talking about Michael Jordan. We're talking about, I'm not going to say that on camera. We're talking about Jordan the country. Algeria looked bad. Riyad Mahrez didn't start, and then he wasn't singing his country's national anthem on top of that. So you had to think there was like some kind of like beef. Maybe he was injured. Maybe he's just old. Or maybe the coach doesn't like him. Either way, when he came on, he looked horrible. He was giving away every single ball that got to him. Am I betting on either of these teams? No. Nope. Am I betting on either of these teams to do anything? No. I think this game will have goals in it, but it's so hard to dictate where these goals will come from. I would bet that you could get like sneaky picks on like their wings. Like, okay, at Algeria, you have Ryan Ait-Nouri, and he's going to probably do most of the work for that team. He plays in the left back, and you can get him for dirt cheap in fantasy lineups. I'd sneak him in. Sure, that's a sneaky pick. You know what I mean? Zinedine Zidane's son, is a goalkeeper for Algeria, and he got 3 put past him by Messi. I think they're going to all want to get right after getting stomped out by Messi. You know what I mean? Like, this is their first World Cup game now. The other one, that was just a brutal showing. But this is their first World Cup game. So, I mean, the only player that I'm really looking at is Ryan Ait-Nouri in this lineup. Maybe, yeah, it's just him. Al Taremi maybe for Jordan, but I would look at like Abdul Tua. I don't think that's how it's said, but that's how I'm saying it. I would look at him. He's a wingback. He has a good assist rate. He has a good assist output. He did for Al Kuwaya. I don't know where that is, but I just looked up his stats. He had a good assist output, so he might be like a sneaky low buy. I just like Haddad had like slightly lesser output. I just don't. These are two countries that I'm not like super invested in. Yes, I'm going to watch the game for sure. I mean, it's going to be on my TV. Yeah. I might be facing in the wrong direction, but it will be on my TV. And I will report back about the goals that happened in this game, if there are any. The problem with betting for these teams is that, you know, there's no telling where the goal can come from because they all want it so bad. It's not like you're betting on an Argentina that just tries to get the fucking ball to Messi. You know, it's literally dudes will shoot from 35, 40 yards out of the box like we saw in Curacao. Dude was at a free kick. He didn't even make, like, he tried to generate the power to get it all the way to goal, and it skipped on the ground, and the goalkeeper still missed it. Sure, it's a fucking awesome goal, but, like, that's what I'm talking about. No one would have said, guy's going to shoot from 40 and get a fucking goal. It's going to be incredible. No one would have bet on Curacao or Cape Verde. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense, you know? It's just the World Cup. And you have to be ready for those kind of things. And Algeria and Jordan, that is literally, this is what we're going to see, is that, like, Al Rahabdi, the number 8 for Jordan, like, scores a screamer out of nowhere or something. Or, like, Bentaleb for Algeria gets a pass from Belgawi, and boom, 35 yards outside of the box, dude just bangs it. The problem is that they don't have these, like, superstar athletes that they're constantly trying to get the ball to, and everybody is so eager to show up for their country. So what am I predicting for this game, you might ask yourself? I'm going to predict a 2-2 draw. I think that both teams are going to score twice. I think that one team's going to score a goal, and then the other team's going to score 2 goals, and the other team's going to fight to get that other goal to draw the game, and they're all going to be like, yes, we did it. We drew. And I'm going to be here smoking pot. Like, nailed it. Yep. So predictions for these games are, Algeria is going to stomp out Austria. I said, 3-1 or 4-1. France, I said, is going to take it to Iraq 3-0, 4-0. Norway and Senegal, I said, 3-2 or 4-1, right? And then Jordan, Algeria, I'm sticking with 2-2. They're just going to draw it out. I don't know if it's going to be a 2-2. It could be a 0-0, you know what I mean? Nothing could happen ever, always. And remember to like, follow, and subscribe. And